What'd you bring us today, Dax?
This is a Ducati Hypermotard S. There's 2 levels of the Hypermotard, and it's basically, it's an 1100 twin, an L twin.
Motard is sort of unfortunate, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what we pay. There's a special needs guy that takes care of our lawn. We never say it in front of him, but he is kind of known as he's kind of known as. He has a little ADD.
2 buddies with this same bike, and we thought, what about forming a gang that was the Hypermotards?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might give the wrong idea to people when they saw our jacket.
Especially when you weren't on the bike, just hanging
just
walking into the rock store with the Hypermotard on the back.
And they're like, "Hey, what's Hypermotard?" And we go, "If you got to ask, you'll never understand."
And then you walk away.
Stroll on by. But
so,
with the
1100 cc's.
This bike came out a couple years ago, and obviously, what's really unique about it is the riding position. Is you're basically up like a dirt bike, and it's for the supermoto class of racing. So dudes jump these. There's like jumps in the track and whatnot. But
bikes have had this evolution, kind of like cars have, where there's all these hybrids and crossovers. And I don't mean hybrid. I don't mean solar paneled. I just mean there used to just be cruisers, street bikes, and then there were sort of cafe bikes. Yeah. But now they're mixing it up.
As they should.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it happens, you go, oh my God, why haven't they been making these for 10 years? They've had the resources to do so. Yeah, it's so much more comfortable.
In a way, it's like just a real evolution of the Enduro, except for the Enduro, they were all about the dirt that you could ride on the street, as opposed to a street bike you could take to the track.
Yeah. And I don't know when the last time you rode an Enduro was, but the knobby tires on wet asphalt is a bummer.
I had an Enduro. I think I had a Suzuki. I think it was called a TS 185.
Like a steel gas tank Enduro?
Yes. And maybe it was a plastic tank. It was probably the mid-80s.
70? Oh, 80s. Okay.
And I rebuilt the engine in my room, in my bedroom, and I didn't have any tools. I just had pliers and like a butter knife and stuff.
You can only rebuild it once.
As I rebuilt it as best as I could rebuild it, and then when I was driving down the freeway, it ceased.
Really?
But I was on the freeway when the engine seized, so I was just going 60 like down the 101, and all of a sudden the back tire just locked up and just started doing that, and then I realized I shouldn't have rebuilt it. But anyway,
it's an 1100 motor. It doesn't make that much horsepower. I think the 1089 or 1098, whatever it is, Ducati, I think that one's in like the 160s. This is a 90 horsepower.
Lots of torque though.
Well, 76 pounds of torque.
It's a V
But it's a low revving motor. Like I have a GSXR 1000 that's like my main track bike, and that one you're riding at 13,000, 14,000 all day long.
Right.
This is like maximum horsepower is at 7,700 RPMs maybe.
And how much does it weigh?
4,500. It weighs just under 400 pounds. So it's also kind of heavy, but what makes this bike amazing isn't the engine at all, but it's the suspension. It has Öhlins suspension. It's got a monoshock that's fully adjustable. The front, suspension's fully adjustable.
I love the single swing arm that everyone has gone to.
Yeah, and it's an aluminum single swing arm. It's it's light, and then the forged aluminum wheels. Yeah, that's what you get on the S. You get the Öhlins suspension, you get the forged aluminum wheels, you get like whatever this carbon fiber
packages
bullshit is. And then also the number one thing about my single favorite thing about this bike is these Brembo brakes. They're called Brembo monoblocks, and they only come on, I think the $80,000 one at this point. Right. It comes on that one and this bike.
The one Tom Cruise has.
Yes. I don't even know the names. I can't afford it.
These aren't anti-lock though, are they?
No, they're not. But it is truly one finger braking. Like even on the track coming into, the first turn after the straightaway, it's one finger and you can submarine it.
So much
unbelievable
safer than
braking.
The old bikes were. And
so this bike was really fun because I had it at Buttonwillow 2 Sundays ago, and on the back straightaway, the Suzuki, you would be hitting like 168, you know? So everyone out there is doing about 170 on that straight. This only goes 125. So I'm 125 tucked in, and guys are just blowing by me like I'm saying so.
Right.
But then I've got like 8 more turns, and I'm catching them on this bike. I mean, it handles like crazy, yeah.
Well, I'm looking at the side of the tires, and it looks like there's definitely got on the edge there.
Yeah.
So you can drag your knee on this bike.
You can. Now, here's what I found out the hard way. Well, luckily, I found out that these are spring-loaded.
Oh, so
because you can see my peg is scuffed all the way to the metal from...
really? Actually got that down to the ground?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which that hits before your knee, so it's very... The first time it happens,
you think it's going to hop?
You
think it's going to hop?
You think you're going to low side and
wait, let's do an
wash out.
experiment. Let's lean this over.
Okay.
Till it gets to that peg, because I want to see how...
I'll be on this side. This is you're about to see a dumb YouTube video of 2 dudes dropping a...
Does this low.
Is it touching?
Right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we're also, the suspension's loaded.
Is pushed down a little bit.
So maybe not that far, but yeah, I mean, you see it scuffed.
That's pretty damn... That's pretty damn impressive, Dax.
There's
I gotta
some pretty
say.
good pictures that the dudes take while you're out there.
Really?
I should have brought.
Oh, and then they sell them to you like when you go to Magic Mountain?
Yeah. The best $60 you could spend.
Oh, absolutely.
A CD full of you dragging a knee.
Plus, they know that's such a sure sale. Like,
yeah.
I mean, what is he, like...
Even the dudes who suck, they're buying it.
For a guy...
You can't look too bad just like, being on the track.
Yeah, just wearing the leathers.
Yeah.
Like, and also, like, I'd love to see the ratio between the percentage between those pictures purchased and that same guy that night when he's out to dinner with his old lady and the chick comes by, if we'd like to buy a flower, beat it.
Yeah.
Beat it.
Spend $5 on a flower to make this person's whole night.
Come on, get out of here. I'll call the cops on your ass. He just dropped $180 on pictures of him on the track.
You're right.
So in summary, we got the Hypermotard.
In summary, this bike is the most fun around town bike
how much,
there is in
how much does this bike cost?
This bike, I want to say, is 15 MSRP. So then you're up to whatever, 17 by the time you've got it in your driveway, I think.
With the
They're
S.
expensive, but my thought was like, I will want this bike forever. This bike isn't a fad for me. Any kind of like Italian motorcycle, I don't feel like is very fatty. Like I think I'll have this forever. Yeah. And around town, you're up really high, you've got great visibility, and the braking's off the charts. And you can take a curb if you want, you know, like it's just a really great.
So it's the Hypermotard 1100 Ducati
S.
And Dax Shepard, thanks for the clinic, buddy.
Yeah.